Black McDonald's franchise owners, franchisees. They claim McDonald's set them up to fail. Here it is.
My name is Kenneth Manning, and I'm the lead plaintiff in the discrimination lawsuit titled Manning et al. Versus McDonald's. I started this crew washing dishes in 1976, right after my 16th birthday, and spent 41 years in the McDonald's system. And for 17 of those years, I was a McDonald's franchisee. I owned and operated a total of 20 restaurants. I invested everything I had: money, time, faith, and trust in the McDonald's system. But what I didn't know when I started is that the rules aren't the same for everyone. I was steered into underperforming locations in neighborhoods McDonald's had already written off.
There are 40 former McDonald's franchise owners making the same claim or a similar claim. Put up the logo. Here we go. Former Black McDonald's franchisees say McDonald's set up their business to fail. You just heard from Kenneth Manning. This summer, more than 40 Black former McDonald's franchise operators joined the call for a national boycott of the fast food giant after it announced that it was rolling back its commitment to DEI initiatives earlier this year, including ending diversity goals for hiring and promoting employees, and its prior pledge regarding supply chain inclusivity, which basically means vendor relations for the corporation. The former franchisees' economic action was in line with their ongoing legal efforts as all plaintiffs in a federal lawsuit filed in 2023 and obtained by Atlanta Black Star that accuses McDonald's USA and McDonald's Corporation of forcing them out of business due to systemic racial discrimination. 48 plaintiffs claim that McDonald's ruined their pursuit of the American dream to build generational wealth for their families by steering Black franchisees to less desirable, poorly performing locations in Black neighborhoods, requiring them to make basically personal investments in the restaurants through costly rebuilds and renovations, denying them opportunities for growth, including buying stores in predominantly white neighborhoods with higher sales and profits, while denying them financial assistance that the corporation provided to their white franchise owners. When it came time to sell their restaurants, the lawsuit claims McDonald's would not let them sell to their preferred Black buyers and made them sell at lower prices to white buyers that the corporation had handpicked. Among them is lead plaintiff Kenneth Manning, who started his 41-year McDonald's career as a dishwasher at 16 and then managed a restaurant before pursuing a career as an owner-operator, eventually owning 20 restaurants in Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina. Talk about a success story. Talk about if McDonald's would have backed this brother, talked about his story, made a commercial about him, highlighted him on their social media, their website. Think about all of the positive PR that would have come out of that. Now, frankly, I don't go to McDonald's, not anymore. It's been years. But you do find that McDonald's, they have franchise owners. And these owners are locally empowered to hire individuals as long as your store is profitable. It creates an ecosystem of economy, especially for young workers. Many times, that's the first job, working in the fast food restaurant, for many of us, including myself. So what do we have? I mean, it sounds kind of diabolical. So you mean to tell me that you can own the franchise, you operate it, you put the investment capital down, you invest also your blood, sweat, and tears equity in addition to your income, When it comes time to sell, you pick a preferred buyer. Buyer has money, but the corporation who gave you the license to operate says, no, we don't want you to sell to that person. This is according to the allegation. But we have some recommendations for you to sell to. And not only must you sell to them our recommended list, but they will purchase at a lower price. In 2009, McDonald's, the regional vice president of operations, Debbie Stroud, offered Manning 10 company-owned stores in the Atlanta region, which were collectively underperforming by $11 million. The complaint states McDonald's then subjected Manning to a demanding rebuild schedule that it did not require of white owner-operators. The lawsuit states, in his first year as a franchisee, he completed 3 rebuilds of the Atlanta stores, spending $5 million on top of the $16 million he paid to purchase the stores. No white owner-operators in the region were required to complete as many rebuilds in that time frame, he claims. Manning says he wasn't given access to the kinds of support that other white owner-operators received, including rent relief, remodeling assistance, and opportunities to buy more profitable stores, and was, quote, treading water while his white counterparts were, quote, expanding their organizations, refinancing, and building equity, end quote. He alleges that McDonald's, quote, implied that it would let him buy a new company-owned store being built down the road if he completed the renovations on one of his Atlanta stores within a year, which he did. But the company reneged on and sold that store to a white owner-operator based more than 40 miles away from said store. When he protested, Darren Hall, a McDonald's franchising executive, told Manning that he was not eligible for expansion, which Manning says was not true because Hall had been pushing him to purchase another underperforming store in the area only 3 months before that conversation. Hall later retaliated against Manning, according to the narrative, for speaking up about his unfair treatment to other company leaders, the lawsuit says. By, quote, deploying its tactic of forcing Black operators out of McDonald's system by increasing unannounced inspections of his stores. When he tried to sell the 16 stores in 2017 at market value to a franchisee whom he had been negotiating, he says McDonald's blocked the sale and forced him to accept lower offers from buyers the company had preferred, all of whom were white. So remember, the buyer that he has set up is a franchisee. So McDonald's, if this is true, actively selecting which of its equal franchisee owners could have an opportunity at the purchase. Put them up full mass. Quote, I walked away with less than what I had put in and far less than what I had earned, end quote. The lawsuit claims that McDonald's engaged in a pattern and practice of forcing Black franchisees into substandard low-profit stores in predominantly Black communities with high crime rates based on their racist belief that customer sales would increase and that McDonald's bottom line would therefore improve if stores were operated simply by individuals who had the same skin color as the rest of the community. Without any support, without the proper mechanisms in order to grant relief that were extended to white owner-operators, according to the lawsuit. Hell of a thing. Once again, not one person saying this, okay? 48. All right, Yasmin, thoughts here.
Yeah, well, Doc, the American dream, we have learned, comes with quite a few caveats. And franchises can be a problematic business model, but they also, when they work properly, can empower many people to own and run businesses when they otherwise might not be able to. But those problematic aspects have gotten a lot more attention lately because many franchise owners like these have drawn attention to these things that most average people just aren't aware of or aren't thinking about, like the things detailed in this story. No one would have known that any of this was going on until these business owners got together and decided to sue a giant multinational corporation over this. Subway, for example, has also come under fire for similarly predatory practices that stifle their franchise owners and saddle them with a ton of debt and basically trap them with a store in a bad location that is then often cannibalized by another location that Subway allows to open across the street. But with McDonald's now, there seems to be a racial aspect to their case and practices. And let's be clear, this is not the first time that McDonald's has been accused of being, let's say, racially insensitive. A lot of people, including myself, have been boycotting McDonald's. Not that I went to McDonald's that much in the first place, okay? And that actually matters because whenever McDonald's was still selling in Israel, a lot of people were decided to boycott McDonald's for that reason unless they pulled out of Israel. And McDonald's on like a hot mic, or it was leaked somewhere, and they said, "Oh, it's all the Muslims are to blame for our low sales this quarter or whatever," like completely ignoring the fact that it wasn't just Muslim people who were boycotting. Also, how much McDonald's are Muslim people just consuming all the time that it would have that big of an impact on your bottom line? It was everybody who was protesting against your involvement in Israel. It wasn't just the Muslim people. That's a ridiculous statement. But, they do seem to have like this myopic, simplistic way of looking at the world and the people in it. And this case, I am interested to see how this one's going to play out if they are going to be found to have been engaging in the things that these business owners are saying that they have been engaged in. And I, for my part, will continue to not eat at McDonald's. They opened one right by my house and also right by my gym. And the other day I was like, when you leave the gym and you're like so hungry, I was like, oh, those fries sound good, but I didn't do it. I just went home.
There you go. Glad you made the sacrifice. And naturally, I'm joining in the boycott. I ask that our allies do the same until McDonald's gives these individuals a proper response and remedy.